Yeah.
Yeah, I need to
Hello, beautiful people. We are live and in the colour.
I miss those days of black and white.
So we did take a week off of the Curse campaign last week. So apologies to all those that missed out on the episode last week because there wasn't one. But this week we're going to get right back into it. No real announcements other than Baldur's Gate 3 early access dropped this morning. Tomorrow morning at about 11:30 New Zealand Standard Time, I will be streaming Baldur's Gate 3 just because, and if there are some available friends that also have it, we'll be taking a look at getting the multiplayer side of it organized. Maybe I've not actually looked into it yet. You shut up, Drax. Not boring. How dare you? It's D&D, man. You don't find D&D boring. Trust you, Frax. Oh, right, no, yeah. But no, the character creation was pretty cool. I've had a bit of a play around with the first scene and stuff, but it's not bad. Baldur's Gate was around before Diablo. Was it? I think it was. About the same time. It's better.
I think it was
better than Diablo. You're a Diablo, baby. You're a bastard.
I played Baldur's Gate before Diablo.
I just like D&D. So anything D&D related. Anywho, we will get into the recap from last session. So last episode, we find some Musak just to ease us into the mood. So the last episode, you guys found yourselves in a large room with many small objects, several small alcoves. From this room, you saw a small corridor descending into what seemed like a large, partially flooded room with an altar of sorts in the center with chains suspended from the ceiling. The chanting, which had been plaguing you guys for the entirety of the underground of Durst Manor, continued until this point. Between you and this room was the rusted portcullis. After some discussion and some investigations, Adok used his cannon to breach the room very loudly, but it worked. The portcullis was very short work. After breaching the room, you entered this large chamber. The chanting stopped almost immediately. The central altar was raised on a stepped platform. A raised ledge surrounded the room also. Some of you entered the room wading through the sort of waist-to-step deep water to the center, while others remained on the outside ledge. In the far side of this room was a breach in the wall with a large pile of bones, refuse, mud and slime and such. Bit of discussion backwards and forwards, but ultimately Karnos and Skathis, with the aid of Mirabelle, bled onto this altar. Almost immediately, as the blood touched the altar, several shadowy figures appeared around the outskirts of the room. No faces, and the torches they held seemed to draw light in rather than emanate it. Then another chant started. One must die, over and over again, droning on. Fibblestab and Karnos and the rest of you, so you were discussing this pile of stuff in the corner. Karnos fires an arrow, striking the rear wall, not really having any effect. Zadriel, then casting Divine Sense, discovered that the mound itself, the pile of refuse, was emanating a fiendish signature. With that, Fibblestab cast Fairy Fire, revealing that this pile of refuse was probably a little more than a pile of refuse. And in casting this particular spell, the pile then raised to its full height of 12 feet and surged forward and attacked. Karnos took some rather serious damage during this encounter, but you managed to deal with it with not relative ease. It took a little bit, but there was cannon fire and divine smiting and all sorts of damage being output. Final blow being dealt, the center of this creature splitting open, revealing the visage of a small child in the fetal position as it sunk back into the water. Skaithus diving in, trying to find and rescue the small child. Mirabelle joining the hunt, but to no avail. Seemed that the child was gone. From there, the house decided that it needed you out, so it started to collapse. You all scurried quickly, some of you picking up the smaller of the group, and you all surged forward back towards the house. Coming up the stairwell leading out of this large room you just entered prior, a trapdoor into the den. From the trapdoor through the main corridor of the house, out the front door into the street, where it was probably about mid-afternoon by this point, and raining, overcast, very dingy and dark. The house then falls in on itself and completely collapses and falls into the depths below. While standing outside, a discussion broke out about how you all arrived in Barovia. The letters were then produced and examined, and Adok believed that you had been deceived. Karnos, not really seeming to care too much, wanting to complete the task that he was asked to do, starts heading towards the centre of town. Skaithus then follows, then after a bit more discussion with the rest of the group and basically wanting to watch Karnos die, you all followed suit and headed towards the centre of town, where you eventually happened upon a inn of sorts with the name The Blood of the Vine. As you entered the inn, you found that there were very few people inside, a young man, 2 or 3 women, and the barkeep, and that was it. After ordering some wine and a little bit of discussion, Emilia then leaves the inn and heads back outside. The rest of you, Anos, engaging with the women, but to not much really success there. Adok, spying this young man, believing him to be someone he knows, approaches and engages in conversation. The man doesn't seem to recognize him, however, which upsets Adok greatly. After some time and discussion, and you were able to calm him somewhat, this man then invites you all to join him and buys you all a round of wine. And this is where we will join our story and this episode of The Curse of Strahd. We will firstly join Emilia, who has excused herself from the bar and has wandered back outside into the light rain and the overcast evening.
Okay, so the barkeep said that you could get water from outside.
Yes.
Is there a tap or a trough, or?
There is looks like there's a makeshift trough of sort, like where you could water horses, but there's also a small well just around the left-hand side of the inn. If you sort of walk around the area, sort of to the left of the inn's door, you'll see a small well.
Okay, so Emilia is going to move around to the well.
Yes.
Nearby the well and the trough, basically find a nice patch of garden, and she's going to use mold earth cantrip.
Yep.
And basically make 2 square boxes, and basically one for sitting on and one as a desk.
Okay.
And she's going to sit down on the smaller box in front of the other box, and then she's going to use shape water and take the water from the trough and make a perfect sphere around herself.
Okay.
Basically a big sphere completely covering her, and she's going to make it opaque or whatever to make it so people can't see within.
Okay.
She's going to enter her backpack, and she's going to pull out a folder which is full of paper and writing materials, and writing equipment, and she's going to pull out 2 blank pieces of paper, or whatever they call it, like
Parchment.
Parchment. Yes, thank you.
Paper, parchment, same.
She's going to write a letter onto one piece of parchment, which is effectively the whole piece of parchment.
Yep.
And draw a picture onto the other one with writing on it.
Okay.
And she's going to wait until that dries, and then she's going to fold it thrice and seal it, and then she's going to pull out her small dagger and stab herself in the hand, and then instead of using the ink that she has used for the rest of the thing, she is going to dip her quill into the blood of her hand and write 2 words across the cover of the parchment. The 2 words being Carnos Lurth in blood. She's going to wait till that dries and enter that back into her, put that letter deep into her backpack.
Yep.
Close off her shape water and shape earth, and re-enter the pub, which will probably be like 20 minutes to an hour later.
I'd say probably 30 to 40 minutes. I would imagine by the time you've done the cantrip should only take a short time, and composing of the letters and I'd say roughly 40-45 minutes.
So effectively, you can say when she rejoins the
that's
party.
fine. That is cool. So with that, we will then switch back to the inn, where you guys have now moved over and joined Ismark at his table in the corner of this inn. Ismark looks at you all and sort of looks around to make sure that no one's listening, and says, "You are not from around here, are you?" Says, "We don't get many non-human in Barovia."
No, you're right. Well,
you are clearly human, of course, but the rest of your group are not. How long have you been here?
Carnos looks around the group a bit, sort of. I think he's still, because he was trying to keep away from him, but last time he sort of just ignores the rest and goes, a couple of days, I think.
And how did you come to arrive? Do you remember?
Well, not exactly, but yeah, we were sort of transported kind of magically, I think, but we don't actually know exactly.
Were you invited? Did you come here by accident?
Oh, right, we got the letters from the Burgomaster.
Letters? Right, oh, of course. May I see them? You say
Carlos
letters.
Does not have them any longer.
No, who has the letters? I think, was it Adok or Fibblesib that picked them?
I do. I pull them out and show them.
And do you show them both, or the letter that Carnos got the first time?
The one that Carnos got.
And he hands it. You hand it over to him, and you see him sort of looking over it. And as he's reading it, you can see at first recognition, and then confusion sort of comes over his face. And he says, "You say you received this letter from the Burgermeister, yes?"
Well, it came in the mail. I'm assuming it came from who it says it came from, yes.
Well, I am sorry to have to inform you that this is not the handwriting of the Burgermaster of Barovia.
Yes, it seems my acquaintances here have the same feeling. However, has the Burgermeister's daughter been taken? Is this part true?
She is not taken, and forgive me, my name is Ismark Kuljana.
Oh.
The Burgermeister is my father. This is why I know this letter is not in his writing, of course. My stepsister, Irina, which you speak, She is at our home. She has been afflicted, but she is safe for the moment. But
So
I'm trying to get her to a town called Valaki, which is not far from here. And as you appear to be here trying to help her also, I don't mean to be forward, but would you be able to aid me in getting her to Valaki? She will be safer there.
Finally, someone with something to do that seems like the right idea. So, and Carlos is completely ignoring everyone at this point. So everyone, feel happy to join in.
Jump in wherever you can, guys. If you've got something to say.
How much does it pay?
Well, we don't have much.
Carlos looks appalled.
We could help you with some supplies and such, but I could also assist you in helping you get out of this place.
She's afflicted. What's she afflicted?
Can't hear you at all.
Muted, Nutty.
That
No.
would be because my microphone was all the way over to the other side
And
of the
you're
room.
talking super quiet.
Oh, no, I'm not. I said, what would she be afflicted with?
Well, she has become very poorly. As the letter suggests, she has been attacked and is much weakened. Strahd has taken a fancy to my sister. Sends his minions to wear her down as much. I mean, he cannot enter the home obviously without invitation. But nonetheless, the constant attacks and constant aggressive affections, shall we say, are wearing us all down. The people here will not help. They are afraid.
Well, never fear, kind sir. You have met the right people. The right person. I am willing to help. See, guys, this letter, be it real or be it fake, has led us to a great journey, a great adventure, a place to make a name for yourselves.
I already have a name. I need money for food, though. So,
That is fair. Everyone needs money for food. I can give you money for food.
aye. I'm in.
Ishmark?
Ismark, yes.
Ismark. Right, I am keen as mustard. I will help you however I can. I cannot speak for the rest of these people, however. I shall let them speak for themselves.
This is good. Everybody. You do not all need to help, of course. I mean, if you wish to stay, but I can tell you that will not find it easy to leave this place. But I will help you where I can and point you in the right direction. And I'm sorry, my little friend, your face is not familiar to me, but this is not unusual in this place. Many things change, and while some remain the same, it's hard to explain.
Just real quick, with that, I would like to pull out my dagger, put it to his throat, real quick.
Okay.
Karnos reacts and just swipes the dagger from his hand if he can.
Roll a athletics versus athletics, guys.
So roughly, where is everybody sitting?
You're sort of all around. It's a round table, so it's sort of a rounded table. So Adok probably would have been one of the first to seat. So he would have been closest to this mark, and Mirabelle was with him. Karnos would have stood in next to you guys. So you probably all stood around the table. I mean, Adok's probably big enough that he probably could have jumped along the table. I'd imagine him sort of jumping and running across the table.
Yep. Yeah, and launching. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hold it at his throat if I got there. I
Yeah.
wouldn't stab him.
Your athletics, Gadok.
11.
Carnos.
11 as well.
I will make a tiebreaker roll here.
Can
Ismark
I-
reacted.
Can I put in something?
Sure.
Seeing this commotion, I grabbed my quarterstaff out to not to hit Adok, but to stop him basically. At the same time, all this is going on.
Yeah, we can. Second, I've got to find Smart stats here. What did he roll? He will roll that as well. What's your roll, Skathis?
What am I doing?
Well, if you're trying to attempt to stop him from getting across the table, it would be an attack roll because you'd want to be trying to trip him up, I guess. So strength, roll a strength check.
Just rolling to hit. So the roll to hit was actually a 21, but you said strength, so it's 12.
Well, beats the athletics. So you do manage to catch Adok on one of his feet as he scuttles across the top of the table, which unfortunately not enough to probably stop his momentum. If anything, it probably propels him forward more so. As you're sort of half-pipe tripped and propelled forward, Adok, Ismark reacts and leans backwards and puts both his hands up and catches you by your shoulders and holds you at arm's length. And just says, wide-eyed but not too distraught, just says, "Well, calm down, little one.
No.
I will explain more when we get to my home. Please. Do not want to do this here."
Fuck. Alright, with that, can I...
He's going to roll a persuasion check.
Yeah. I was about to say, can I gauge everyone else's?
Well, you know that Skathis is the one that reached out and tried to trip you up. You know that Karnos definitely tried to stop you as well, and came close, but not quite. He rolled a 16 on his persuasion check. So he seems pretty like he's. You can see the look in his face. He definitely doesn't recognize who you are, but you feel that he could possibly give you some answers as to why.
Okay. Alright, well, with that, then yeah, I would just lower my dagger and then drop it on the table and just back away. Not saying anything and get off the table.
With that, does anyone else want to say anything at this point? And by this, it'll be about this point that Emilia returns and enters the front door. So you would have returned probably just as Adok was reseating himself. And what you see is that the whole group seems to be seated around this table with this young man.
I am going to be patting Adok on the shoulder and say, what am I going to say? I'll just whisper to him, perhaps you can explain it to me later and we can see what we can do about all this, huh?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't either, but I trust you and I don't trust this place. I agree, it's not normal. So let's just wait and see what plays out.
Don't trust me. Don't trust him. Don't trust this. Don't trust anyone.
Okay. But we still wait and see, huh? Yeah?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, Emilia, what do you at this point walk in the front door? You see all the people that you came here with seated around this table with this guy. You'll see the three women seated at another table, and the barkeep's still there. He's just what you guys have probably, if any of you have actually noticed, is the barkeep wipes out glasses or cups, starts at one end of the bar, works his way to the other end, and then when he's completed, he goes back to the start and just starts all over again. Rinse and repeat.
Is there a fireplace in the
There
tavern?
is a small fireplace at one end of the tavern.
Emily is going to move to the fireplace and stand with her back to the fire, because in general she has just been out in the rain.
Yes, she has. So she will be a little wet. I mean, you'll all be a bit damp, and it is warmish in here. We just got raided, guys. Just sort of better put that out there. Torpid Network, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it very, very much. 48 viewers. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, welcome, raiders.
So with that, Emilia crosses past you guys and then walks to the fireplace, which is probably about 15 feet from your guys' table, and stands with her back to the fire, facing the rest of you, and just sort of watches on. With that, Ismark leans in again and says in a more sort of a hushed tone, whenever you're ready, we can... my father's home is not far from here.
Well, I mean, I'm ready to do whatever we have to do now. It doesn't, I mean, I don't see why we have to wait, right?
Well, I need a rest to refresh things, so... But we can rest
can
over
rest.
there, maybe?
You can. We have plenty of rooms. You can rest in my home.
Okay.
Please, this is not the place we should be discussing such things.
I'm just going to look at the guys and say, well, guys, what about that windmill we kept seeing? Do we not want to go and find where that is?
Haddock,
Do I remember anything about this windmill at this point?
roll a history check for me.
Okay. 11.
11. You guys did hear about the name, so the windmill is called the Old Bone Grinder. Adult, you'd probably definitely remember the name. The name is definitely familiar. But I would say that's probably about it. Don't remember much else.
I turn around and still say, I feel like I want to know what's going on here with whoever this person claims to be first.
Maybe he just doesn't want to talk about it here with the other people away.
It makes sense. This place is creepy and secret and all, right?
No. I've heard this. I think, maybe, what you're saying before. I can't remember, but it sounds familiar.
What you have, Mr. Adok, is something they call Deja Vu, and it's no need to get weapons out for Deja Vu.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe you're right. I just need a second, alright? And I'm just gonna walk up and get it and walk outside.
Okay. Right, so with that, as Mark says, whenever you're ready, we can go. I will wait for you outside, yes? And he excuses himself and follows you, Adok. And when he gets out, when he joins you outside, away from earshot of the barkeep and the owners and the other members of the party, he bends down on one knee beside you and puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "Do remember you, but we must be very careful about who we speak to, what we say. This place is cursed. We are not. I will explain more later."
Fuck. I feel like Adok would probably start tearing up, but it's raining, so I wouldn't see anything.
And he gives you a sort of gentle squeeze on the shoulder and stands up and waits with you until the rest of you guys are ready. So is there anything guys you want to discuss now that you're on your own or heading outside?
Yeah, Karnos looks to the group. Who's around him? Is everyone back in?
So you've got Zadriel, Skathis, Mirabelle, Fibblestib, and yourself. Emilia is probably about 15 feet away at the fireplace, but she is watching you.
Yeah, Karnos just addresses the group and says, "Listen, I just want to make one thing very clear. Where we met together, and I was recruiting at the previous bar, I was looking for some help, not some hindrance. Now, it seems, Mr. Stubb, that you and a couple of the people here have decided this letter isn't legit, and that is fine, but I still want to help whoever needs help. If you do not wish to help, that is as good as gold, or if you think there's something shifty going on, that is also good as gold. However, I think it is a little weird how you are quick to attack me when I make decisions on the little Addoc, but when Addoc pulls, was it firebolt, some sort of spell in the middle of a bar of innocent people.
Dagger.
And it's a previous game he pulled up.
Yeah, he did too. Yes, you're right.
And in this case as well, a dagger. Not long after there, it is like, oh, the poor little fella, he's okay. I think seriously, everyone needs to read their heads. And then Karnos goes to the bar and says, "Mr. Barkeep, can I have 2 bottles corked for the road, thank you?"
Right.
Yeah.
He sort of turns and places 2 bottles. That would be 5 silver for the wine.
Thank you, Karnos.
That's that. I'm heading outside.
Okay. What is everyone else doing? Zadriel, Fibble, Emilia,
I get up and as I'm walking out, go,
Mirabelle.
What town doesn't have a blacksmith? Really? It's a blacksmith. Yeah, it's a blacksmith. What's this about a dagger?
The dagger's still sitting on the table, by the way, too. Holy Robert.
I'll pick the dagger.
Emilia cast Windstorm.
Oh, sorry.
I'll pick the dagger up and go,
Dagger.
put that in my pack.
Okay. So, what are you guys doing now? Karnos has left, Skathis has followed.
I will follow Feeble.
So Fibble and Zadriel then get up and also leave. Mirabelle.
I'll look around and look at Emilia and go, well, I suppose we should probably go with them. Don't know what Karnos was on about, because that man just babbles. And then I'm going to walk out. Then you come in.
Emilia.
Emily is going to follow Mirabelle.
Okay, so you follow out last, and when you all eventually do exit the inn and back into the street, you then find Ismark and the rest all waiting outside. Find my map. Go. So from there, you walk out into the small square. So it's not really a square; it's just it's a larger portion where the roads meet, where the inn sort of, which would not be unlike a town square. Ismark then waves you in a direction and starts walking towards the northwestern part of the village. With that, it doesn't take long, and you then spy a relatively nice home. It's a weary-looking mansion, squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies to one side, while the left swings lazily in the wind. The stuttering and squealing and clang of the gate repeats as the wind sort of continues to blow on this very dreary and overcast day. Weeds choke the grounds and press with menace against the house itself, yet against the walls the growth has been trampled down to create a path all about the place. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish from the walls. Great black marks tell of fires that have been assailed at the mansion. Not a pane or shard of glass stands in any window. All the windows are barred with planks over them as well, each marked with stains of evil omen. And it's Mark so turns to you guys and says, please, follow.
People, Steve, can you see above the grass?
The grass is quite tall and would probably be a little taller than the shorter folk in the group. But there are several, like I say, there are several paths that have been tracked through the grass. As you walk up the main path, you can all visibly see in the mud leading up to the house, and in some of these paths throughout the mansion's grounds itself, large paw prints all over the place. Some humanoid footprints as well, but mainly large animal paw prints.
Do you think he has a dog? Maybe.
He turns and looks at you and with a bit of a quizzical sort of look and says, we do not have, well, any more. We used to have 3. They died many months ago. Again, I will explain more when we decide.
Okay.
But I think we might be hearing a cat.
You might be hearing a cat. There are several strays here, of course, just like anywhere. Can I get everyone to make a perception check as you walk up the main path towards the front of the mansion? That annoying cat. Someone shoot it.
Feeble.
Yes.
Does it sound
If
like
you see
it's
that cat,
okay?
would you please destroy it? It is very annoying.
I don't know. It sounds like it might be hungry.
I believe it's already been fed.
Okay.
Whoa, that's the best metagaming ever.
Plenty of rats and mice. Sure it's eaten hearty.
Sorry, not meta, broken game.
So, perception checks all round. Fibblestep,
13.
13. Mirabelle,
I rolled a 9.
Scathus,
I've done better. 6.
Carnos,
Carnos is getting a little bit slurry, and he got a 16.
Satriel. Yeah, the wine's a little bit stronger than what you used to. What was that, 19?
Got it. 19.
Yeah, Adok and Emilia.
I got a 2.
Wow.
Was Emily is paying attention. She got 20.
Wow, okay. So with that,
Adok's done better.
Adok's done better. Adok's completely preoccupied with what he was just told to him just outside the inn, and is a little preoccupied with that. Anyone who rolled a 10 or higher, however, as you move up this path, as you're surveying the footprints and that around the place, there are scores and scores of, as I say, animal footprints, paw prints, and a lot of human footprints as well, barefoot, not booted, what you would expect, but a lot of barefoot prints as well. As you move up to the front of the mansion, when I find my map of the mansion, so I know where the hell I'm at. If indeed there is a map, I don't think there is. Nope, there isn't. That's good. But the the interior of the mansion, as Mark leads you in the front door, is well furnished. The fixtures show definitely signs of great wear. A lot of noticeable oddities, but the boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room. One of the very first things is even into the main halls, every window in the place is boarded up and there's just holy symbols everywhere. And he beckons you all inside, closes and then relocks the door as he had unlocked with a large key. Then double bars it from the inside with heavy bars. With the sound of the heavy bars being put into the door, you hear a female's voice from an upper floor. Yes, Mark, is that you? Have you returned? I have, sister. We have guests. Please, come to join us. And you then notice a young woman descend the staircase down to the main floor. It's a striking young woman with auburn hair, about the same height as this Mark. She's wearing at the moment a reasonably sort of like an evening dress, but nothing too fancy. What are your passives, please, ladies and gentlemen? As she moves towards you. Passive perception.
Passive. No.
Sorry.
11 for me.
11.
12 for me.
Anyone got higher than a 13?
I have 13
You have
itself.
13. Okay. So Emilia, the one thing you notice as she steps forward and presents herself to you all and gives you a slight nod to the head, as she then stands next to her brother, is she looks like she hasn't slept in some time. She's very pale. You happen to notice the puncture wounds on the right hand side of her neck. No one else probably have noticed that with your lower perceptions, but she appears to be reasonably mild, but she just again walks up and greets you all. Good evening, afternoon. Welcome to our home. I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Irina.
Carlos bows. What sort of room did you say we were
You're
in?
like in a large foyer. Like I say, you got the main doors. You come in big double doors. This Marcus has boarded them up with two big bars to stop them from being reopened from the outside, as well as locking them with the key lock. There's a couple of small doors leading off to another room, and a single staircase on the left-hand side of the room, spiraling up to a second floor.
Would there be somewhere to hang like hats and coats and things like that?
Yeah, there's like I'd say that it's like a little cloak area which has some hooks and that on the wall.
Karnos sort of says, after he bows to the girl, he says, excuse me, Ishmak, do you mind if I hang my coat and axe here? It seems a little odd to walk through your lovely abode with all this equipment.
Of course, please. You may take off your boots and your wet cloaks and hang them here. It will take some time to dry, but we will move them into the sitting room with the fire a bit later on, of course. But please, definitely.
Thank you, kind sir.
And Irina reciprocates and says, "Oh, of course, please, let me help you." And she goes around and helps you, anyone who allows her to help you, off with any hooded cloak you have been out in the rain with, and offers to hang them for you. Emilia.
Emilia will resist and move away
Just move
when
away.
she tries to help.
She doesn't forcibly do it. She just walks towards you and like hold out her hand. And if you just say you hold up your hand and say no thanks or shake your head,
Yeah.
she will respect that and move away.
Yeah, Scathus holds his hand up. Just
Okay.
Stop.
That's fine. And then with that, so make note of what you have removed. Obviously, if you're going to leave weapons and stuff in this position as well, make note of that. If you're going to hang your backpack, make note that you don't have those items on your person as we go through this RP. With that, Ismark says, Irina, please, would you prepare some food and drink for our guests? I will take them to the sitting room and have chat. And you can see that Irina then leans into Ismark and whispers something in his ear. And you see his eyes drop a little bit, and he goes, excuse me, we'll go into the dining room. How should I say? Our father is the sitting room. He's dead. Not had chance to bury him, as I cannot do it on my own. Do not want Irina to leave the house alone, and the people here will not help us. Mirabelle.
Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us. We could give you a hand.
Oh, of course, that would be. I would be so grateful, but not today. We will rest, and maybe do that in the morning if that suits.
And there's actually 7 of us, not 6. I just recounted.
Carnos
So-
can help. He is good at digging his own hole, so he could be good.
Zadriel was right. Mirabelle, that was the nicest thing I've heard from someone in a while. I will definitely 100% aid with the digging of hole.
Again, I am grateful, but please, let's go to the drawing room and we can sit and drink and eat and discuss further about what is happening. And he then turns and shows you towards the dining room. Irina follows after all of you to make sure that everyone's sort of going in the right direction. And you all are then seated around a large dining table, which has seating for 10. It's a very big dining room, almost like a formal dining room. You would, again, everything's so old and sort of very worn in this place. Obviously, it hasn't seen guests for quite some time. Again, as you move into the next room, there are candles lit all around the place, so there is plenty of lighting, but all the windows are boarded. And again, as you move into the dining room, there are holy symbols placed all over the place. It is almost obsessive placement. Holy symbols marked on the walls and doors and such things. Not unlike you would see maybe in a Vincent Price movie, like an old vampire house. So think of Fright Night. Those who've seen Fright Night, and you've got the old dude, the vampire, that had all the vampire memorabilia around his house and all the holy symbols that everywhere. Pretty much the same thing. It's very cluttered, but there seems to be a purpose to it.
Carnos immediately, seeing the dining chairs, pulls out 1, 2, 3, 4 and says, "Ladies."
Irina nods and takes a seat. She seems relatively pleased that because you beat Ismark to pulling her seat out, because he was about to do the same to her, and he even sort of gives you a slight bow as well. Do the rest of the ladies take a seat as Carnos pulls the seat out for you?
How tall?
Thank you, Carnos.
You are quite welcome.
Mirabelle?
How big is the seat?
You'd have to climb up on it. I mean, they're standard human-sized seats, so it wouldn't take too much of an effort, but you better get up on it.
Alright, I was just going
Need
to
to
look
speak
at
up.
Carnos and say, can you just give us a quick hand up there, friend?
That is no problem at all, Mirabelle. And Carlos puts his arm out.
So I kind of climb up using his arm. Thank you.
Okay, push your mic in closer just a little bit. So Emilia, do you take a seat as Carlos pulls the seat out for you?
You said there's like crosses everywhere. Is there crosses on the table and such as well?
Not so much on the table. It's when I say holy symbols, it's not so much crosses, but just you'd imagine probably cross style stuff, not specifically Christian holy symbols, more holy symbols for this land.
Oh yeah. Yes, she'll take a seat.
And with that, Ismark seats himself next to his sister and waves the rest of you that haven't taken a seat to sit, and do you all take a seat around the table?
Yes.
And again, Ismark leans into his sister and whispers something to her that no one can really hear. And she then turns to you all and says to you, I thank you all for coming and for agreeing to help us. My stepfather, the Burgermeister here, passed away. Naturally, it was not through battle, but he has been under enormous stress due to the constant attacks on our home. You noticed the many paw prints and such outside as you approached, yes?
Yes, we did.
The wolves and other creatures attack almost every night for weeks now. And my father's heart couldn't take the constant assault and died these past 3 days. Strangely, since his passing, we have not had any incidents. Emilia.
On hearing the words wolves attacking, Emilia pulls down her hood.
You get the feeling that even though you have this wolf face, that Ismark and Irina don't seem put out by it or even concerned, which is a little odd, but not really that unusual either. Irina again reiterates what her brother said earlier. She says that no one from the village will help us or have been brave enough to take my father to the cemetery for a proper burial. We cannot leave him there, and we cannot do it on our own.
Why won't they help you?
They are scared.
Of?
The prince, of course. Everyone is frightened of
This
Mirabelle.
Strahd.
What prince is that?
And Pibblestib, you said Strahd. You said the name Strahd. The moment you mention Strahd's name, Irina shifts very uncomfortably in her seat and says, yes, Lord Strahd. It's hard to explain, but we believe he is responsible for the attacks, and no one dares go against him. He's a tyrant. Has been for many years. Turbo. Maybe you should unmute your mic.
Well, maybe we should go and just show him a thing or two. Eh, Carnos, that's the kind of thing we do. People shouldn't be scared of someone.
You're not wrong, Mirabelle. However, is this Prince Strahd living in the graveyard?
No, he resides. You've seen the large castle above the village, yes?
Yeah.
You guys would have noticed the castle off in the distance as you approached Barovia from the east, and you would have noticed the shadow of this large castle. And you remember the story of that the gypsies told you about this prince and it seems to start to correlate a little bit. The castle, he resides there, but this whole domain is his. He goes where he pleases.
Will we encounter trouble at the graveyard? Is that what the townsfolk are afraid of?
No, they fear him and they fear me of this. And then she turns her head and shows all of you now the wounds. You can all see 4 puncture wounds on the right hand side of her neck as she sort of leans in and shows you these wounds. Now that she's showing you that, you can actually see how sunk in her eyes and dark rings around her eyes, like she's had no sleep for days. You see, he is not living. He is foul, fiendish. My brother wants to take me to Vallaki, where we believe it will be safer. Will not leave until my father is. Zedriel.
Does he have people listening? Is that why we could not speak at the bar and pretended people didn't know some of us?
Then you see Ismark and Irina sort of share a quick glance, and then Ismark says, well, see, things are not what they seem here in Barovia. The people say not all people, if you understand. Rebel.
What do you mean they're not people?
He sighs deeply and says, let's just say that most of Barovia is loyal to Lord Strahd. Do not trust many people here. I've been trying to escape and get Irina away from this place for a long time. Haddock, my young friend. Again, I apologize for the deception in the bar, but the Vistani owners are not to be trusted. You know this.
Yes. What I don't understand is why am I hearing this again?
Things here don't always remain the same. It is almost like... It's hard to explain. You will see things and do things, and then you will see and do those things again. Many things will not seem normal.
Right, what you're explaining is like time travel, which I completely get, makes sense. But that would mean that you don't remember me, but you said you did remember me.
I remember you and your friends helping us. Why I remember is not clear to me. I should not. Again, it is strange. Irina does not remember, but I do. We've talked many times about it. And you can see he's looking a little upset himself, like he's not sure how to fully explain what he's trying to get across, because he doesn't fully understand it.
Can I real quick? I would like to cast Detect Magic. I don't know what everyone else is going to do, so I'm just going to see a goblin start doing some spell.
So you're just going to... is it a ritual or just the actual...
Just straight up.
Straight up cast. As you start to mutter your incantation, this Mark sort of looks at you and says, what are you doing, young one?
I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep going.
He seems to trust you, which seems okay. So he lets you carry on, Zedriel.
I'm going to, when I heard that people are not as they seem, I would have cast Divine Sense in the room.
Has
Just
that got a
because
vocal?
I feel like I would.
Yeah, has that got a vocal component as well?
It does not say because it's a
That's
just
part
a
of your.
trait.
That's part of your.
It's an action.
Yep, that's
yeah.
fine. So there's no vocal. Carlos.
If Adok starts casting a spell, Carlos 100% is going to grab him from behind in like a wrestling style sleeper hold and just lay down with him on the ground.
Yeah, okay. So at the moment, Adok, you start vocalizing a spell, not because you didn't answer what you were up to. Carlos shoves back.
Because we're sitting at kitchen chairs, right?
You're all sitting you're sitting like you guys would be sitting down one side of a long dining room table. Ismark and his sister are sitting he's at the head, she's to his immediate right. And I would imagine you guys are probably all down the right hand side and one of you be sitting at the opposite head. So
okay, so yeah, I'd grab him from behind in his chair and just hook him up so his knees hit the table and just choke a hold him from there.
okay, so you would have stood up, shoved your chair backwards and moved over towards Adok at this point. So with that, I will stop that there with that action. You guys will then notice Carlos stand up. At the moment Adok starts to murmur. Anyone else going to react to that?
I would have noticed that.
You would know the spell probably.
I'd know the spell. I'd look at Karnas and go,
He was detecting magic, Karnos.
Carlos releases his grip, taps Adok's shoulders and says, he was being spoken to and he wasn't answering and he has already tried to cast a spell at this man before. I was just making sure.
At this point, Adok's going to get up and look at you straight in the eyes and go, all right, listen here. If I wanted to fucking kill you, I would have done it a long time ago. Calm the fuck down.
Please,
right?
please, calm yourselves. It is quite all right. And you can see Ismark is kind of visibly frustrated with what's going on at this point. Zedriel, your divine sense goes off, and you, apart from Emilia, you sense nothing. You may carry on with your role play.
With that, I'll be like, look, the reason why I didn't want to stop is because you just heard the man. Things aren't what they seem. I just want to make sure this isn't an illusion or some mind magic. Or I don't know what's going on, all right? I've got no fucking idea. But I don't trust a lot of things. I don't trust this fully yet.
Well, you got to take this from me, Mr. Adok. I don't know about these other people here, but whenever you go into a public place and start casting a spell that no one else knows what it is, especially when I don't trust you and you don't trust anyone, you look like you're going to eat those kids earlier and you said you probably would, I just wanted to make sure you weren't upsetting our hosts. You could have just said, hey, do you mind? This is his nice house. Hey, mate, do you mind if I cast a little spell and do a little magic?
Please, please. Calm yourselves. As I say, do not trust anyone. Honestly, even do not trust me. If you do yourselves a favor, do not trust anybody.
And then Adok will come over the top of you going like, yeah, right, but like if I asked him and he knew what I was going to do, he could have then provoked an opportunity attack and we all could have died. You just don't know, do you?
Mirabelle.
Guys, now Karnos, are you just going to get like that when anybody here starts casting a spell?
A skell even.
A skeleton, you know.
Casting a skill.
Yes, Mirabelle, yes, I would.
So if I'm going to go and cast something to protect you, you're going to jump on me and stop me?
If I do not know what you are up to and it seems like it could be in a dark reason or for something bad, then yes.
Well, why would any of us do that?
Because, well, I don't know what any of you
Jump
would
in
do.
there, Zedriel, if you want.
Keep going, keep going.
Who knows what anyone's thinking? You barely know me, I barely know you, but I don't pull out my axe in someone's house and go, chopping away at their table and furniture because I think it's a mimic, right?
But he wasn't. He saw. Yeah.
My point is, he was casting a spell in someone's house without asking permission. He came
So
into
if-
someone else's place and did that.
So if I take out my quarterstaff and twack you around the ankles just because you're being a pain in my arse,
I've already cast this spell, so 5 down, and I look at both of the patrons, and I say, I am so sorry for the bad manners of these people, and I'm going to pour a glass of water and cross my legs and say, now, we're all here to do something, so I suggest that we shut up and listen to the people.
Himalaya.
When Zadriel finishes with that, Emily is going to say, "This chair is really comfortable."
And with that, Irina, you see Irina, she's shifting a little uncomfortably in her seat, and she says, I'm so sorry. If you please excuse me, I must go rest. I've not been well recently. Taken a lot out of me. I will retire to my chambers. And if you are still here in the morning and you are still willing to help us bury our father, then I thank you and see you this morning. And Daisy excuses herself and gets up and leaves the room and heads upstairs to her room. And Ismark stands as she stands, pulls the seat out for her as a gentleman would, and sort of almost guides her to the door, sort of one hand in the small of her back, and walks to the door and then closes the door behind her, turns back and reseats himself. And he says again, there is nothing to forgive. This is what Barovia has. This happens a lot. Believe me. But
What would you? Oh, sorry.
oh, you're fine. Excuse me, please. Go ahead.
So, what exactly is it that you are wanting us to do? To escort or guard or?
Of course, I didn't want to leave until we bury Julian, my father. So that is first order of business. Secondly, escort, accompany, not so much escort, accompany. We are both, my sister and I are capable and able to look after ourselves, of course, but you've seen the footprints, yes? We are not prepared for that much action, so to speak. So accompany us to the city of Vallaki. There we believe, well, I believe we will be safe from Strahd and minions. There we can devise plan to escape this place. Milia.
You said that most of these attacks have been from wolves and such, but
Undead also. I think you might know them. Zombie is a word often used, but not people that are no longer living, but still walk.
okay, well that answers that question because I was basically looking at the bare feet marks outside.
Yes, yeah. Strahd has many capabilities and controls many things in this land.
Well, just so happens, Mr. Smart, I have had dealings with zombies. I have dealt with some zombies before, so we can deal with that if it comes to pass.
Does this town have a blacksmith that you're going to?
I believe Vallaki will have blacksmiths, yes. Barovia, the village, has died many years ago. Not many people stay.
Okay.
But
We bury your father, we go to town.
Yeah, I believe Vallaki will have blacksmith or
I told
something
let's do
along
this.
those that profession. Yes, there are more people there for sure. So by this time we're heading into. By the time you guys walked to the mansion and now you've had this discussion, Irina, in the course of the discussion, bought food and more and water, not wine, just water. So you've had food, so you don't need to mark off any rations. You've had food, you've had drink. You've been sitting discussing with Ismark for quite some time about what the goings on of Barovia. The fact that it's generally always overcast. It's not always raining, but it's always overcast and dark and dingy in this place. He has given you a little bit of information about Strahd. He doesn't seem to want to talk too much really deep about it, but he just gives you a bit of information. He seems solely concerned about burying his father and then getting Irina to Vallaki. That seems to be sort of one-track minded with that. When he then says to you guys, there are 2 or 3 rooms on 2nd floor which you are able to use to sleep. Not many beds, but I assume you have bedroll. If not, there are blankets and not in the cupboard on the 2nd floor. You'll find extra blankets and things. There is a balcony on 2nd floor, which the doors is barred. If you do want to go outside, please be careful. But remember to bar the doors when you come. You get good view of Barovia from 2nd floor. Carlos.
If you don't mind, Mr. Isma, I don't know about the other con people here, but I would like to stay up for a little bit at least with a watch. Maybe Scathus, maybe you could accompany me, and maybe someone could do another watch later, just to keep an eye on things if you've had some stuff going on in this house.
This is up to you, of course. It's been quiet for past 3 days, 3 nights. But if you wish to stay and watch, please, up to you.
Yeah, I mean, as everyone's been saying, trust no one, scary, everything. Yeah, so I just thought it might be a good idea. I would like to, and Scathus, if you wouldn't mind it, so you could keep an eye on me, I can keep an eye on you, and then maybe the next watch can be the next 2 people keeping an eye on each other, and if we can do that, it'd be lovely.
So with that, does anyone pipe up an offer to take on a 2nd and a 3rd watch?
I can do 2nd with someone.
Mirabelle, 2nd with Zadriel, and who's going to take the last and final watch? Sunrise.
Emilia can,
Yeah, no worries.
even if she's on her own.
Does anyone want to do a watch with Emilia on the final watch?
I'll do a watch with Emilia.
Okay. So 3rd and final watch will be Emilia and Fiddlestick. So, with that, Ismark then excuses himself and retreats to his own chamber. So you guys probably got a couple of hours before the first lot of people will head off to sleep. If there was anything you wish to discuss amongst yourselves or anything you wish to achieve in that time, now is the time.
Karnas will drink the water from the table while people are talking.
I think we're going to establish that a lineup, if you will, going in as a force of habit, like Carnos and I in front. Skatis, you don't have a lot of armor, so I think you should be behind us. And maybe we teach Mirabelle that the magic people can stay in the back. Maybe have a little space we need to open for the firearm people. And then we just keep to that. What do you think?
Yeah, Zadriel, I think that is just about the best thing I've heard come out of your mouth since this whole thing began.
What did other people think?
I love it.
Yeah, that will work. Guns at the back. Meat shields at the front. Sounds good.
What did I tell you about calling me that, huh?
I wasn't referring to you.
Okay.
If Fibblestib, I actually take meat shield as a compliment. That is my plan. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
I say annoying people at the front not use Adriel. But I like the idea of, well, I don't like the idea, but I'll hang back a little bit just so that we're a bit safer. Just don't get caught by any of our spells.
It's basically tall people at front, short people at back. Tall people can tell short people what's around.
The tall people, we can see through their legs. We're all good.
I can shoot off their legs. Oh, not gonna say that.
Oh no. Maybe
Oh,
the shields of meat should not be so fermented on the job sometimes too, I was going to say.
That is a lovely comment, my lady. However, if you take a note, I only drink in off times when there doesn't seem to be a danger about. I am drinking water currently now because I am planning on an hour or so in going into the watch scenario. So unless you are watching me with a closer eye than you are watching yourself, I think maybe those opinions can stay.
Can I see your water? No, never mind. I'm not good.
He kind of slides the glass over which Arena was pouring
Yep.
and slides it over and gives it to her.
Are you gonna? I know what you're gonna do. Are you gonna do it?
We all know what I'm gonna do.
Are you gonna do it? Does it have a vocal or a somatic component to it?
I know it's just a touch. So
Just the moment you touch the glass. Just double check. Because if it has a vocal or somatic component to it,
no,
you'll have to roll sleight of hand as well.
I can roll sleight of hand to see if I can
Well, if you,
roll
if,
anyway.
no, the
just
thing
to
is, if
see.
you only have to touch
You
it and
want-
there's no vocal or somatic
No, it's
component to it,
just-
then it's fine. It's just part
It's
of the
just
whole
touch.
paladin thing, which I think it is, from memory.
It's just my will and
Yeah.
touching it. Yeah.
So the moment you reach over and touch the cup, the liquid is no longer water. It is now wine. What do you say, Zadriel?
Fuck.
Yes, you're quite right, Carnos. Always correct. And then I just look away.
You reach back and slide your glass back, your cup back to you.
Absolutely, and I take a sip because
Yep.
I was making sure I was putting water in the system for the watch,
And you take a great big mouthful of wine.
and I'm like, I actually, because I wasn't ready for it, I spit it out. Pfft. What the? Did you? What? He's looking straight at Zadriel, and he cleans up after himself, making a mess.
You may roll insight if you wish to determine her reaction
Just look at me
as
a bit
being
like,
genuine.
I think I will. I think I'll.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Net one.
You have no clue what just happened. Critical fail, guys.
I'm looking at the glasses, and I like I say, I clean up and I pour new water and down a massive water.
No worries. Anyone else wish to achieve anything further before we all head to sleep and the first watch takes place? Right, so with that, Karnos and Skathis remain in the dining hall at this point. There is 3 rooms available. There is also a office of sorts on the second floor. For those that go to the second floor looking at the 3 rooms are not huge. So who is going into what room, and just so we get an idea of where people are in the house. So basically call them room 1, 2 and 3 and the office. So Fibblestib and Zadriel, where are you headed?
should we invite our dog? Because I feel like he needs to be protected.
Yes,
People.
being adult.
So which room do you head to?
One.
Room 1.
Actually, no, office.
Office. So you head into the small office, and it's got there's no beds in there, obviously, but you guys have bedrolls. And in the office is a small desk. It's a small bookshelf. Most of the books are missing. There is, again, religious symbols plastered around the place. The window in here is boarded up, but this is the room with the balcony doors. There is a bar across the balcony doors, but again, it'd be easy enough to remove, and just, like as Mark said, as long as you put it back when you're finished. If you're going out onto the balcony, it's fine. So Adok, do you accept their invitation?
Yeah, I would. Yep.
No problem. So
I wouldn't be saying much, but yeah, I'll take all my things.
Cool. So Adok, Fibblesib, and Zadriel retire to the office and set yourselves up in there. Mirabelle, where do you go? Room 1, 2, or 3?
I'll go into room 1.
Room 1, you find yourself in a small, simple bedroom with a single bed. Small dresser, small desk. Again, the window's boarded up, and there are a holy symbol carved into the window paneling, and also seems to be holy symbols all over the place.
And then I'll look at those, and I'll turn around, and I'll go out, and I'll join the guys in the office.
And you find the same thing in there. It's holy symbols all everywhere. It's just
Yes,
all
but
over
there's
the house.
other people in the place.
It's not a very big room, but you're welcome to join them. It won't be
I'm
comfortable
not a
with
very
all of you in
big
there.
person.
Well, true.
How big are the drawers? Can Zadriel make little beds in the drawers like a cat?
There's drawers in the shelving, like it's one of the big shelving units with drawers in the bottom. You probably a couple there, probably big enough for a goblin and a halfling. You could probably make.
Pulling out
you probably
drawers,
could actually.
yeah.
That's actually pretty
Making
cool.
little beds.
I'll allow it. If the smaller folk are down for that, then that's up to them.
I look at Arok and I'm like, meh.
Yeah, I would just say it's fine. I can make my own bed, but thank you.
Emilia, which room? 1, 2, or 3, my friend?
Which one's the one with the balcony in it?
The office,
The office. Ah,
where
okay.
everybody is.
Alright, she's gonna go into room 1.
Room 1.
And
So I said single bed, simple set of drawers, a small desk, and a small side table.
gonna put a bedroll on the floor and just lean up against the wall.
No worries. So with that, you guys then retire to your areas, your said rooms, and Karnos and Skathis, you remain at this point in the dining hall. So we will start there with you guys for the time being. Anything you guys wish to discuss before you start your rounds?
Yeah, Karnos would sort of try and sort of lead Skathis like on a tour up and down and just checking, through windows and outside rooms. And as he moves through, he would talk to Skathis and hoping that maybe Skathis might talk back. So Karnos is, I will start because that's how Karnos rolls. He goes, "Hey, so Skathis, I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't think the others are getting on with me so well. Have you noticed that?"
I look at Carlos and nod.
Do you think it's something I said?
Shrug of shoulders.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I come to the feeling that they must have dealt with friendly goblins before. That is the first thing I think. Have you ever met a friendly goblin?
Shakes his head.
All right. Okay, so I haven't either, so I figured that much. But anyway, one thing Zadriel said tonight, which made me think, she was sort of talking about positions, about, me and her being up the front, and then and you back, and so forth and so on, and positioning. I thought, that's exactly what has been the problem so far. I need a lead. I need someone to lead. And when I brought this group together, I did not think about that. When I was working in Tristram, it was a young daughter, Leah. She helped us out. She drove it all the way. She told us what to do. When I was working in the hills of Silence, it was Mr. Mason, and he gave the directions, and I just bashed what I was told to bash, and that was easy. When I was working in it must have been the City of Raccoons, and it was the militia, and Mr. Redfield, he directed us. He said, go left, Carnos, go right, take out those zombies. We were doing it bit by bit. And then, of course, in Fandelver, which is where I met Zadriel and Filston in the first place, way back having a few drinks, I think it was. In Fandelver, it was me, dwarven mate, Gundren Rockseeker, and he pointed the directions and gave us all and I thought, that is what the problem is. We don't have direction. What do you think? Tell me as much as you can about that plan, what you feel.
I think we should make Zadriel the leader.
That is my point exactly. That is my point exactly. You are. It's been great chatting with you. You are absolute genius. I think I need to maybe make amends with her because I don't know what's going on there. But I feel like I've upset her somehow. And yeah, I know. I had a water earlier and she gave it back to me and it was a wine. Do you have any freaking idea how that happens?
And I shake my head again.
Right. And for the rest of that's pretty much like talking that through that whole run.
No worries. No need for perception checks. You're in a closed and locked house. As you walk around the house, each room you go into, every single window, planked over, and again, religious symbols plastered everywhere, on mantles, on tables, painted and carved on walls. It's just you definitely get the feeling that they're definitely trying to protect themselves from something evil. So after a short time, you guys make a full circuit of the house, the ground floor. Nothing untoward. You don't hear anything. You don't hear any. Off in the distance, you hear a bit of a howl and such, but you've gotten used to the hearing the howling wolves in the distance. It seems to be a thing here in Barovia. It seems to be a lot of wildlife, mainly canine in variety. But nothing else much happens. And right there is about where we're going to take a small break before we get back into the next section. So bear with us, ladies and germs. We will be right back after these quick messages. Give us about 5 minutes. We'll have a bit of a chat with the chat when we get back. But we need to hydrate and pee and all those great things. So we'll see you shortly.
joy and creativity. I think my tenets is just spread joy, creativity, art,
Something like
happiness.
that, yeah.
So far,
and
good work.
we're back live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Welcome, viewers. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again this evening. Just to rattle off a few names here, we've had a few new followers. I don't know if this person's here, but if you are here, thank you for the follow. I999 Natas 9666I. If you are who I think you are, welcome back, dude. Appreciate your follow. Thank you very much. Tallpit Network with a raid right at the start of the show tonight. 48 viewers. Then we got Zios with a follow. We had Mrs. War Pedo B or Ped Bob. I hope that's not War Pedo. I really hope that's not what that says. Mrs. Warped Bob. There we go. I finally got it. That's so bad. And then Zoom TV with a host as well and a follow. And Crazy 8 Ball with a follow as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the support and the follows and the hosts and the raids. I'm sorry if I butchered your names, but that's what I do.
Can you say that again, please?
No. There's the guy who played the Dragonborn with the raspy voice in this game too. Because he wears a mask. You won't probably notice him, but yes. Up here, Karnos Lurth is Baz, aka Het. So so everyone from the Sunday campaign is playing tonight. There you go. There he is. The two extras that we have, which is Adok down below me here and Emilia up on the top there. Drax is Emilia, who is one of our mods, and Adok down there is roasted chicken that's in the chat normally and is part of the Lost Chapters crew that do their stuff on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure you go check out Lost Chapters every Thursday for Storm King's Thunder, which I will be joining sometime in the next couple of 3 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. They also do a homebrew game on Friday, which is not unlike Harry Potface. It's based around a wizard's college, I believe. A lot more gritty than Harry Potter, I would imagine. And then they do. You guys do another one on Saturday too, don't you? Which is a different DM and. Yeah.
We do a lot.
They do a lot. Is it Lost Mines of Fendelva on Saturday?
It is. It's Lost Mines, but in a homebrew world setting. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Karnos is a grumpy meanie. Sure. Everyone's grumpy and mean. Limpy. Good old Limpy. Right, so with that, we will get back into the story and pick up where we left off. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. My name's Evldoa. I'm from New Zealand, as is most of the cast, or some of the cast. Some of the cast are from Australia. We are doing the Curse of Strahd module from D&D 5e. We are episode 6 in, so we've only really just started. Don't be hating on the Aussies, Whiskey. Come on. They're our Aussie cousins. They're a little bit slow, but we forgive them for that.
That is true.
They can't play rugby. Yeah, well, they can't play rugby for shit. Just saying.
Oh, mate.
Well, you guys play that weird version of rugby, Aussie rules, I think they call it. I mean, they have to make up their own.
Yeah, I don't play that AFL. NRL's what I and rugby.
Now that I've insulted half the viewers and the cast, let's carry on.
You're all about to log out.
Now that you got no viewers, why are we doing this again?
Yeah. Oh shit! Oh, is that we're not supposed to do that? Oh crap! But yes, so coming to the end of Karnos's and Skaithus's watch, we're going to switch over just shortly to Emilia. As you are sleeping, I need you to make a wisdom save for me, please.
Oh, I just had to figure out how to do that. Where's wisdom? There.
Be under your saves, dude. So on the top left of your sheet, you'll have a box that says saving throws.
19.
19.
Yeah.
With a roll of a 19, you feel like someone's watching you. You feel a strain. Your eyes are still closed. You feel a presence, like someone's watching you. And with that, your eyes flicker open. And when I bring up my information, you see standing before you, just looking at you, a pale man in his late 20s, early 30s. Jet black hair, it's kept swept back from his face, which results in a really prominent widow's peak. Not unlike my own, however, the high brow. His dark, liquid eyes have an intensity that you think would make even the strongest man very nervous. They indeed make you nervous. He's dressed in very fine, albeit somewhat outdated clothing. Though all his adornments are tasteful. A ruby gold necklace, a gold signet ring. His physique is lean, but you can also see he is reasonably well muscled. Stands approximately 6'1" tall. Very, very tall.
Does he say anything, or is he just stand there?
At the moment, he is just standing there.
I say hello. Are you there, or am I dreaming?
Well, that is neither here nor there. Hello, my dear.
Hello. Strange person in my room that appeared in a house that's completely locked.
Yes. My name is Strahd. And with that, the man in front of you gives you a slight little bow.
That name is familiar. Are you he who everyone fears?
Some fear me, some worship me, others loathe. Depends who you are. Stand, my dear. And with that, he will force you, muscle by muscle, to stand against your will.
Indeed you do. You have no control over your body at this point. You stand at his command. Even if you did try to resist, you feel your muscles move without you wanting them to move. Even if you were going to stand anyway, it just, you know that you're not in control at this point.
And with that, he's also going to force you to do a little curtsy. Now that is how you address royalty. Interesting. In a flash of lightning, the man standing in front of you gets right up next to your face. What is this that you're wearing? This thing?
A keepsake from my family.
You do not feel you need to hide your beauty, do you?
I feel that my beauty needs to be hidden behind something fierce.
How cute. Take it off. The mask, that is.
Emilia flips her hood back and removes her mask. Do you want me to describe myself, or?
Yeah. Good.
Before Strahd stands a young girl, mid to late teens, long red hair straight down the back of her robe. Freckles and palish skin with light blue eyes.
As soon as you do that, you see the man in front of you take a step back. He slowly lowers down one hand out in front of you, palm facing up. He gives another slight little bow. And with that, you feel your own hand impulsively reach out and take his. And then he says, "A beauty such as yours deserves a dance, shall we not?" And he pulls you in, and the other arm goes round your lower waist. And you begin to dance around the room. As you're dancing and twirling, you can see him take in just the very essence of who you are. And he goes, "Ah, yes, I thought I recognized this. Pray tell, why do you resist such a gift?"
I am still coming to terms with what the gift means, if that makes sense.
And what do you think this gift is so far?
Well, so far it has not felt gift-like, but I feel strength where I did not feel strength before, and yet I feel weakness where I felt weakness before. If that makes sense.
Everything makes sense to me, dear. Everything. You realize that time will cease for you if you were to partake in such a gift. That there is many more strengths that far outweigh the weaknesses. You must understand.
Yes, it is confusing.
It's quite simple. You should feast, give in to the temptation. Do not let this go to waste. And the entire time this is happening, you're just dancing around the room, slowly in a ballroom-like dance, quite efficiently and beautifully, gracefully.
So at this point,
May I ask, what will it
Strahd,
take for you to
at this
make a
point,
decision?
Strahd, do you release Emilia from your physical control?
Yep.
Do you resist now that you are in control of your own faculties?
Emilia continues to dance with him. She does not resist, but does not answer as such. She merely looks away from direct eye contact.
As you do that, Strahd then dips you and catches you and holds you very firmly. Leans in close to your ear and whispers, "You are very interesting. Very." And then dips you back up. You do not fight me? Do you enjoy this, perhaps?
I have been alone for some time. To have such a person as yourself embrace me is not something I am used to.
With that, he releases you, takes a step back, puts one arm behind his back, and says, Well, you realize that there could be many more occasions such as this, but you must do one thing. I hope you know what that is.
I believe I know, but I'm not sure I'm ready.
You have nothing to fear, my dear. For you are a part of me, and I a part of you. I will always be with you. I will always be there. By your side. You just need to make the decision to be by mine.
And if I choose to be by your side, will I be the only one? Or one of many?
And with that, a smile creeps across his face. Then you watch as slowly but surely, without moving, he slides backwards into the darkness. And all you can see in this darkness is just his piercing gaze as the last final thing you ever see before he leaves.
She whispers goodbye as he disappears.
And with that, your whoopty. And with that, your newfound friend, potentially, vanishes into the darkness, leaving you once again alone in your room to contemplate this conversation and this very polite and very charismatic gentleman introducing himself as Strahd.
Emily will sit back down in her bedroll, and you could say swoons to herself, and does not go back to sleep.
No worries. If you do not sleep for the remainder of the evening, you will gain 1 level of exhaustion. However, just bear that in mind. With that, we will then go back to Karnos and Skaithis as you come to the end of your watch period, and the next 2 that you were going to wake, I believe, was Zadriel and Mirabelle.
Yes. We knew where they retired to.
You knew they went upstairs, and they would have told you where they were going. I would dare say. So, you generally know where the upstairs rooms are, and even if you didn't know, you'd be able to find them easily enough.
Sweet.
Just before we do carry on any further, Cameron and Robert, Dean's inspiration, guys, both of you.
I already had it.
Okay, cool. But that was some fucking top-notch RP, guys.
Good job.
So with that, you wake Zadriel and Mirabelle for their watch. How you do so is completely up to you.
Head will talk to Skaithis. Head.
Or Cameron.
Sorry, I gotta go. Do I give inspiration to Adok or Strahd? I'm confused.
Just to you and Jim. Give it to Strahd.
You just, yeah.
We'll give it to Strahd. Fuck it, give it to both characters. So how you wake these guys up is up to you.
Yeah, sorry. Karnos, not head. We'll say
I was going to say, who's this head you're talking about?
Such a habit. I live for head, man. Karnos says to Skaithis, so we should wake them nicely. Who do you want to take?
I look at Karnos, I look at the rooms, and I just do that.
Karnos goes and very nicely shakes both of them awake.
Thank you.
I roll out of my drawer quietly and puddle on down the stairs.
So, Skathis and Karnos, you have the 2 rooms to choose from, room 2 or room 3, in which you will retire to yourselves.
I'll go 3.
Yep, and both of those are empty, weren't they?
Both are empty, yeah.
Yeah, so in safety, Karnos would go with Skathis as well.
So both go into room 3, and there is a single bed, just one bed. It's a double bed, but it's just a single bed. There is a small couch there as well to one side, a large wardrobe, small dresser, balcony doors here, but these balcony doors have been boarded up, so there's no access to the outside.
I lay my bedroll out on the floor.
Problem. Before you guys go to sleep, however, before we switch over to the other ladies, got to check first. The window in this room is boarded, but there is quite a large gap in the thing, so you can actually see out of this window. Skathis, you're probably the first to notice as you walk and put your bedroll down, and you sort of spy movement through the window off in the distance. Do you go have a look?
Yep.
Do you let Karnos know what you're doing, or do you just go over and peer out the gap?
I'll just go peer out the window.
As you peer out the window, you can see the graveyard that Ismark and Irina were talking about, which is not too far from the manor house. An airy green light surfaces the grounds of the graveyard. From this green light, you can see dozens and dozens of ghostly apparitions rising out of the fog from the graveyard, waving images of women, greatswords, men with bows, dwarves with glittering axes. Most of them seem like they're in armor of some description. See mages with beards and pointed hats. All these and more march forth from the graveyard, their numbers growing by the second. What do you do?
I turn to Karnos and say, we're under attack.
Karnos goes to the window and tries to see what he has seen.
And you see the same thing, and they're not coming towards the house. It's just a ghostly procession, which looks like they're leaving the graveyard, and then following the road, and then it looks like a procession's heading towards the northeast, which you would both know as you watch from this gap in the window and the boards, leads to the large castle overlooking the.
Karnos would, because we've just walked into our room, right?
Yes.
Karnos would go to Skathis. Oh, right there, mate. I'll just let the others know. And he'll rip to Zadriel and Mirabelle, who they've just woken up, and tell them exactly what's going on.
And yeah, with that, Karnos comes rushing in and tells you guys about this ghostly procession that they've seen from the graveyard. Looks like it's heading towards the castle. Mirabelle.
I'm going to go and look out the window. Well, follow to where they're looking out to have a look.
You would be too short to see out this particular window. You would have to stand on something or be lifted.
I lift her up to the window.
So you both peer out the same window to see what they're talking about, and again, by the time you get there, you can now see the procession disappearing into the fog. But this just looks like dozens and dozens and dozens of ghostly figures just rising out of the graveyard and slowly walking, following the road and which leads towards the castle.
I look at Zadriel, I look back at Zadriel, I'm like, what are those things? What are those things?
It's a ghost, but they are not coming over here, so I don't know if there'd be too many for us to deal with.
Malia.
Emily is going to hear people running around
You will, indeed.
because I'm awake, and I'm going to go into the room to see what they're all running about.
Have you put your hood and mask back on?
That is a good thing. Yes, I should have done that.
I just wanted to make sure before we proceed any further.
Yes, I will have done that. Sorry.
I'm assuming you would have at this point. So, so you then find out what's going. You sort of look around. You see the door open to this next room, and you enter in. Do you guys fill Emilia in to what's happening, what you're seeing? And if
Yes.
Emilia, you do also take a look, you'll see the same thing. Yep.
Emily is going to have a look, go, oh yeah, that's not the weirdest thing I've seen tonight. And then she's going to go back to her bedroom and actually try and go to sleep.
No problem. That is awesome. I love it. So, what are you guys doing?
Zadriel, do you think, I mean, it's headed away from here. Do you think it would be alright to leave it for the night, or should we go and approach these things?
I say the people on watch just keep an eye on it to see if they come here. Otherwise, it's too many for us. We have to pick our battles wisely.
Absolutely, you are one correct lady.
At this point, I'm having a little panic attack and hiding behind Zadriel.
Am I still holding you? If I
I'd
was
say
holding
you're,
her.
you're probably still holding her up at the... well, you guys would have turned away from the window by that point, I imagine, because Emilia would have wanted to come and have a look. I'd say you may either put her down or...
Head on the back.
There. Rip the baby. So Fibblestib and Addock would still be sleeping because you guys have not been woken, unless you woke them as well, Karnos.
Karnos just would have woken the watchers.
You'd already woken the watchers, so you would have gone and seen them, so that's fine.
And that would have been it, yeah.
So so Addock and Fibble, you are both still sleeping at this point. Up to you guys whether you decide to wake them as well, or just leave it as it is and carry on.
I would say, shall we leave them to sleep? Because they're not looking... I'm still freaking out here slightly, but I'm just like, but they're not looking like they're coming towards us. Should we just leave the boys to sleep?
Yes, we need the most energy for their watch, so leave it.
If it is still going on when they wake up, it is probably pertinent to show them as well. Maybe Mr. Stib has something that can dispatch of them rather quickly.
But of course. Yes. We will do that.
All right, thank you, fine ladies, and good night.
And with that, Skathis and... Skathis and Karnos, do you change rooms to allow them free access to this vantage point? Or do you remain in that room?
Good question. Yes, Karnos would change rooms.
So you move to the next room. The next room is just a couple of couches in it. It looks like it might be another drawing room of sorts. Bookshelf, coffee table, small desk. But the couches look like they're relatively comfortable. They're old, but the leather-bound couch is big enough for both for people of your size to sleep on. So, with that, Zadriel and Mirabelle, you start your watch. Any particular thing you specifically want to do during your watch? No need for perception checks. The house is locked from the inside, so you are reasonably safe.
I usually kick off my heels and stretch my wings, but I look at Mirabelle since she does not know yet. Make a face and say, what spells do you do? Is it close range or long range? Oh, you're muted.
I've got some that are close range and some that are far range. I could do them from about 10 foot onwards.
I'm just wondering where in the lineup maybe you should be closer, you think?
No, a lot of them get to about 60 foot.
Did your father, you say, did he teach you any adventuring kind of tips?
And at this point, I'm scratching my head thinking, was it my father? No, it was my grandfather. He used to tell us all the stories. It was great.
Oh, so you don't know too much except the house.
No. I quite like Zadriel, so I'm just going to look at her and say, haven't really been much out of my hometown, to be honest.
Oh. Well, would you miss it now that you've had this to deal with, or?
No, I'm loving this. This is fun.
Do you want some tips, maybe, from...
Oh, sure.
Okay. Well, the shinier the object is, the further away you stay away from it. Do not touch. That is number one.
Okay.
Yes, never touch the shiny. Also, it seems the cleaning products in this place are more deadly than the people, so no brooms or mops or anything. Don't touch.
Okay.
Just don't touch anything. Yes. What do you think of this Carnos?
Oh, I think he's a loudmouth bully. But I really think that maybe he's got some... I think about it and I'm like, I think that maybe there's something going on there that we're just not seeing.
Someone must have hurt him before.
Doesn't mean that gives him right to go around bullying little people himself.
You know, he's the only human in the party, but he says he doesn't like the goblins so much. It's odd.
I don't know. I've never actually met a goblin other than Adok.
You've met Phoebus, Steve, though? Well, he's not goblin, but he's basically.
What is Fibblestip?
He's a gnome.
But he doesn't have one of those little hats.
You think they have hats?
You know, the little ones we often put them in the garden with the little hats and they've got the fishing rods. He doesn't look like one of those.
Do you know how to sew? I have a very good idea for his birthday now. I think we could... I never know what to get him. He always makes it. So now you've given me good idea.
I'm sorry, I have no idea how to sew. But I'm pretty sure that we might be able to find one in a wee... Oh, we could make it out of a wee bag.
Holy shit, chat.
Zadriel starts laughing.
Chat, the RP tonight is on point.
I think he's pretty smart. He does not look smart. I don't tell him that, but he is very, very smart. He would probably know putting a bag on his head might make him feel bad. We could do that to Connor, so.
Oh, could we do that to him in his sleep? Oh, sorry, did I say that?
That would be strangulation. I think that I cannot kill another party member.
Oh, no. I definitely think we have got to get Fibblestib. We'll find one somewhere, a little red hat, because I think that'll just be perfect. And can we get him a fishing rod as well?
Okay, maybe I should stay out of that and you can do that stuff because I'm starting, that could be, you can get away with it because you are new and young and naive and beautiful and people would know that I was really pissing him off if I did that, so.
All right then.
But I firmly support this decision.
All right.
Yes. And then we're going to just keep checking the watch as we...
So, I assume you'd be walking... I would assume that you'd be walking and talking, sort of wandering around the house, checking doors and windows. And every now and again, every sort of hour or so, you back up to the room 3 and check the window. And still, you watch... Every hour you go up, you're still seeing this line of spirits leaving from the graveyard and following the road out of town. Very airy looking, the greenish glow. And it's kind of creepy, but again, they don't seem like they're threatening. They don't seem like they're aggressive. They're all just walking in the same direction. At one time, you get to the window and you see what looks to be one of the villagers walking out towards the graveyard, close to where the spirits are, and the spirits seem to not even bother with them. They don't turn and look. They keep doing it's very creepy.
Does it look like this villager notices the ghosts as well and just keeps going through them?
Hard to say. Like, it hasn't walked up to them. It's sort of walking in that general direction, then sort of turns and goes down a side road or a side street, disappears. But it's hard to say whether he noticed they were there or not.
I just look at Adriel and say, well, obviously I can't very well see out the door or the window. Have you seen anything like this before? Where do you come from?
I come from Vanderlyn, where we have lots of gnomes, but no undead, orcs, dragons, things like that. So this is kind of new.
What's a dragon look like?
You've heard
Big.
Stories of dragons from your great-grandfather, but you've never seen one.
I've never seen
Yeah,
one.
you've never seen one.
They're big, they have an ego the size of Carnos, they are huge and very greedy, snobby things who kill on sight.
Ooh, but they sound absolutely beautiful. And I look at her and I'm like, and what's in the work?
The smaller version, but still bad. So just kill. Although that's kind of bad because, Carnos wants to kill the goblin for the same reason. So maybe I should not say that. Maybe I should start talking to the dragons from now on.
Okay. Do you think we should go and wake up Fibblestib and Haddock?
Yeah, Fibblestib. Was it Fibblestib and Haddock going on the last watch? Or Emilia and
No,
Fibble?
it was
Emilia
Emilia.
and Fibble, that's right.
Shall we go and wake up Fibble and Emma?
So even I forgot.
Emilia?
Okay. And I tuck in Haddock a little bit more as I pass by, and then I'll get to Fibblestib.
Haddock's he's been tossing and turning asleep. He's biffed off his blanket off his bedroll. You can cover him back up, and as he sort of rolls over, as you go to him, he rolls over and points his ass upwards and farts loud. It's all that weird food that he ate in the death house. It's finally starting to come through. It's pretty stinky. Like for a small dude, it was a big smell.
I'm just gonna turn around and walk out and just go and give Emilia a bit of prod.
I'm just gonna say as she leaves, Mirabelle, don't give him so many rations anymore.
Was it bad?
It's bad.
Gone.
So with that, Mirabelle goes to wake Emilia, and I'm assuming Zadriel wakes Fibblestib for your guys' watch. And do you pass on the information about the spirits and what you've seen?
Yep.
So,
and the villager too.
Emilia's seen it already, but Fibblestib, you're hearing this for the first time. So you ladies then retire and return to your slumber. Emilia and Fibblestib, you are now awake and on watch. Emilia, you if you wish, you can probably lift Fibblestib up to have a look out the window if he wants to see. It's completely up to you guys what you're going to do.
I can lift him up. Oh, I'm going to bed. This is
bed.
Emilia. I'm going to bed.
What's actually in the room?
In the room, there's probably a chair or two you could drag over and climb up on yourself. Yeah.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah. There's no. It's not too sturdy, but it'll be all right for you. You're not exactly fat. Or are you? Are you a fat gnome?
35 pound.
Yeah, no, you're a skinny ass gnome. You do. So with that, you drag a chair over and you climb up on it. You still have to get up on your tippy toes to see out this gap in the window, but you see exactly what they described to you: a procession of spirits leaving the graveyard in a thick, heavy-set fog, and then following the road to the northeast, and then disappearing into the thick fog, heading away from Robia. Drinks check. Yeah, no, he's pretty good.
Look at him and go, that's something you don't see every day. Although, for this place, maybe it is every day.
So with that, is there anything you guys wish to discuss throughout your watch? You've got about 3 hours to kill before sunrise.
I'm gonna look at Emily and go, so, what's with the mask? Why a dog?
Who says it's a mask? How do you know I'm not just a wolf?
Because I can see up, and it's a mask.
And yes, being a real short person, she can probably see up under your chin quite easily.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't go according to plan.
Perceptions, man, perceptions.
You remember, I'm up to about your just above your knee type area, so
It's probably looking right up your nostrils.
Yep.
It's a mask. Very well made mask, but it's still a mask. And why a dog?
It is a wolf. My father killed it when I was young, and my mother sewed it into a mask. And I wear it so that I remember them.
So, take it your parents are dead.
They're around.
They're around here?
They're not here as such, but they are around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my parents are around too. Kind of. I think.
Are yours dead, or?
I don't know. Accident in lab. Don't know if they're alive.
Oh my god.
Was that canon version 1.0?
No, they were testing teleportation device. So, they could be here. They could be over there. They could be everywhere. They could be out there. They could be one of those ghosts. As I said, I don't know.
Oh well. I'm sure you will meet them again one day.
Yeah, I dabbled with teleportation. Not good results. So, your parents made masks.
Yes. Something, yes. My father killed us, and I don't like talking about it.
That's okay.
It's,
No. No hats. No hats. Not making hats. I can burn the bloody thing.
Emilia is going to take out her water flask and put water on her hand, smear it across the mouth of the wolf's face, and use whatever his water cantrip was, shape water,
Yep.
to separate the mask. So basically, the jaw opens wide up right across her face.
And you
So-
revealed your face?
And I reveal my face. Basically, the bottom of the jaw will come up to just below her eyes, and the other bit will go right back behind her head.
Cool. And yeah, with that you see Emilia's face for the first time, and as Robert described her before, a ginger, but not an ugly ginger. She's reasonably attractive, freckled, very young, mid to late teens, and very shocking orange, not red, but a real orange, sort of a copper orange hair, but very, very pale also. You can tell she's not been out in the sun much. Pasty gamers like all of us.
I don't know why you hide behind that mask. You're attractive. Not like Carlos.
I have heard stories of ginger people not having souls, so I try to keep it covered up, so if anyone ever casts spells that detect undead or evil, they may get the wrong idea if gingers don't have souls. But I've seen Zadriel cast it a couple of times and she's never said anything, so maybe that's not true.
No. She's a good girl. And what are you talking about? I got brown hair with green tips. Huh? Gingers no souls. Rubbish. Alright, let's go make sure the place is secure.
And I'm gonna go walk around.
And you guys see the same thing as everyone else. As you walk around the house, you notice the abundance of symbology around the place. You're not familiar with the religion, but they have that religious sort of look about them. Some of them have a similar shape to a Christian cross, but with added features to it. Again, lots of candles that are slowly burning down throughout the night. They seem to keep them lit day round. All the front door and there is a rear door to the property, all barred. All windows are boarded up. Some have a few gaps here and there, and as you sort of look at the gaps, you can see that the grounds, what you can see if you do have dark vision. If you don't, you can't really see a whole lot. Emilia, you would not be able to outside because you do not have dark vision.
I do have dark
Actually,
vision.
you do, aren't you? Sorry, you're not, because of your thing, other thing. I forget. Yes, you do have dark vision. You can see that the grounds are fairly overgrown and just not being looked after. The house is run down, but it's fairly well secured.
You may notice, Fibblestips, that Emilia has a slight skip to her step. You may say she even is slightly dancing, but which is out of character for her.
Yes, she seems a lot.
Very light on her feet.
Yes, that's the way to put it. It seems very content at the moment, which is unusual because from the time that you've met her and right up until even before you came to this house, she was always at the back, always keeping to herself, didn't really say much. When she did say something or do something, it was never aggressive or forward. It was in the background. But to see her sort of moving in this almost joyous way is definitely out of character.
Julie, no. Not going to say anything about it.
And with that, your watch comes to a close without too many anything else happening. Emilia, through the course of the night, through your watch, I'm assuming you would probably take extra care to check doors and windows to try and figure out how your visitor got in, which you didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Everything seemed fairly definitely secure, which gives you pause to wonder how indeed this man managed to enter this home locked from the inside and into your room unseen and unheard. You have some inkling with the way that he left, obviously, but still plays on your mind a little. With that, you come to consciousness, and everyone else, you start to wake as well. As you all gather again and head downstairs, Ismark was up probably about an hour or so before you guys, as was Irina. And as you're coming back down the stairs, Ismark is coming back through the front door. You hear the lock being unlocked as he then enters, and then as he comes in, he rebars the door from the inside. And he turns and sees the first of you coming down the stairs. Good morning. I trust you all slept well. Well, as well as you can in these times.
Yes, do you know anything about the stuff happening in the graveyard that night?
In the graveyard? Oh, of course. Oh, forgive me, I should have warned you of this. You are talking about the Procession of Spirits, yes?
Yes.
Pay them no mind. They are not hostile. They will not even notice you if you are to stand among them. These rumor, I'm not sure. Rumors say that these are people that have passed on here, and the spirit remain, and they are cursed to return to Castle Ravenloft. Around midnight every night they do this. I'm not 100% sure myself if this is true, but that is what people say. It's become... You see it all the time. You pay it no mind. It's this is why it slipped my mind, and forgive me for not explaining to you. It's such a regular occurrence. I did not pay it much attention. But yes. So, shall we bury my father? If you are ready. Emilia.
Just out of question, did I get a rest from that, or?
Yes, you did. Everyone got a full rest. Because you did eventually sleep, you would have completed a full rest.
Excellent, thank you.
No problem. So, with that, you go into the drawing room, and you then head... In the drawing room, you do find the body of a middle-aged gentleman. He is wrapped in a rug, like I've literally rolled him up, tied him up into a rug, and then put him inside what looks to be like a burlap sack of some sort, not fully covering his face. You can see the portion of his head sticking out. You can tell, all of you can tell, even those that probably have not really seen a dead body, you can tell he's been dead for some time. His colour is starting to grey. There is a smell. It's not putrid, but there is a distinctive odour in the air as you enter this room. The room has been cleaned. Ismark then tells you that from their place to the church is across town. You can see the graveyard from the second floor, but it's going to take with the body. It's probably going to take about 5 minutes to get across town with the body. There's no cart, so he's going to need a hand to carry his father. So who is going to offer help carry his father? Mirabelle, you can't carry a human body. You're small.
Carlos definitely would. He's right up there.
Ad hoc.
Yeah, ad hoc would try.
So ad hoc and Mirabelle, you want to attempt to give a hand? You want okay. So Ismark goes and so what I'd imagine is going to happen is Carlos is you're going to say to Ismark's going to say, if you would like to grab maybe his head and shoulders, skate this, and I will take his feet. And I would imagine Haddock and Mirabelle both scoot themselves underneath the body as they lift it, and try and hold him up from underneath, maybe.
I'd say, Adok, you get on one side and I'll get on the other, and if we kind of hold him in the middle between us, like under our shoulders, so it might work.
Yeah, I'd say that's doable. So with that, Ismark then says to Irina, yes, go this.
Wouldn't the taller ones need to do a posture check, seeing how the smaller ones...
A what now?
Posture check, like, wouldn't they be hunched over, try and keep...
You guys would probably have them around waist height, I'd imagine. You've got one either side. Ismark's got his legs. I think you'd be fine. Mirabelle.
Would we feel like his head's kind of flopping down?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't assume so. I mean, it's a human body. I mean, there would be a little bit of give. He might bend in the middle, but if you guys are propping up the middle, it's probably easier for these guys to carry him than if there was nothing in the middle with the body's natural affinity to bend in certain places. So I'd say it would definitely probably be an assistance more than a hindrance. So with that, Ismark asks Irina to unbar the door, and she leads you guys out into the morning. You can tell it's morning, A, because Zadriel's shield says it's morning, and B, it's stopped raining. It's definitely lighter outside, but it's still very dingy and grey, which is, it struck you as being odd when you first got here, and you're not 100% sure why. That's always the sun's never out. Like, so far, the 3 days you've been here, no sun. It's just always been overcast and cloudy, dingy. It's either been raining or it's not been raining, but it's still really crusty and gross. The fog that hangs in the air is always there. You step outside and the fog is thinner here in town, but as you head in towards the centre of town, as you look out towards the edges of town, it seems thicker on the outskirts of town, is almost like it's blanketing the town specifically. The first 20 minutes or so, can I get Skathis and Adok, Mirabelle, and Carnos to roll a strength check, please? All at advantage, guys, because you are all doing it together.
Carnos would also have grabbed his equipment from the doorway.
I'd assume you all would have. Emilia.
Emilia will have redone her wolf mask and hood back to normal.
Cool. I would have assumed that. Until you tell me otherwise, I'll just assume that she does that.
Sweet.
So Ismark's strength check was 21, so he's good. Mirabelle. These are all with advantage, one you guys, so be that in
I
mind.
rolled an 8.
8 with advantage, holy crap. Carnos.
I rolled a 10 with advantage.
Oh, shit.
And I've got a good string.
Skathis.
I think we're dropping the body. I got a 10 too, with advantage.
It's not bad. Adok.
Not for Adok, because he got a nat 20 minus 1.
So 19. So you guys, you have a couple of moments in this first part of the trek. There are a few moments where you think, oh, hang on a minute. And Mirabelle, you sort of drop the ball a little bit and your side droops a little. You manage to get back into the rhythm of things. Adok, you seem to, even for a goblin, you're pretty strong. You're used to lifting that heavy cannon of yours. So you managed to help Mirabelle steady the centre. Skathis and Carnos, you're both working together, so you don't really have too much. You lose your grip every now and again, but you manage to call out and you stop and you sort of position yourselves to get a better grip. Zadriel, you wanted to say something?
I'm just gonna say I'm like at the ready, on guard, following the casket, on watch kind of thing.
No problem. So you're sort of being ready in case anything untoward. The second part of your journey, so you've now passed through the centre of town, back past the inn, are now heading towards the northwest. Another short road. You can now see the church building looming in the distance as you start heading uphill a little bit towards the church. So atop a slight rise against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft stands a grey, sagging edifice of stone and wood. This church has obviously weathered with the assaults of centuries of wear and tear. The bell tower rises towards the back. The flickering light shines through the holes in the shingled roof, and the rafters are generally just don't look good. This church is very old and almost looks abandoned somewhat. It's weird, man. It's very drafty, but you managed to go through the front of the church. No one seems to be here at this point. But you managed to move your way through the church into the church grounds itself. One moment.
Did any of us bring shovels, do you think?
Ismark, so as you make that remark, Ismark says, there will be shovels in the custodian's shack, which is in the graveyard.
Okay.
I'm sure. Not many people actually get buried here much anymore. But we have family crypt as well, which I don't think there will be much. So, you then move forward and through the graveyard, and Ismark leads you towards the family crypt of Indrovich. So you need to make another strength check, guys. Again, with advantage, as you're all sort of helping each other. Mirabelle.
14.
Skathis. You look like you rolled a natural 1. 4. Carnos.
I also got a 14.
Adok, what did you roll?
I got a nat 20 minus 1 again.
Another nat 20. Holy crap. So with the natural 20 and the 14 in the middle, they managed to prop up the front a little bit as Skathis drops the ball and lets the left-hand side drop a little. Carnos, you managed to sort of help him out a little bit as well. You don't drop him, but you come very, very close. As you move around, you can see that there's a wrought iron fence that runs the circuit around the outside of this old graveyard. It's been disused. It doesn't look like it's been used in a long time. Ismark then leads you to a small crypt where Irina opens the door with a key. It's a wrought iron door. She pushes it open, leads down a small staircase. Once inside, you do see a few different grave markers, and there's an open, almost like like the morgue. It's not like a drawer, but it's an opening in the wall where a body is supposed to go. Ismark leads you up there and places the feet inside and aids you guys as you push the body of his father into this little sort of alcove thing. And with that, he then proceeds to pick up a marker, which looks like he's had made prior, sticks it into place, and then uses the butt of his sword to almost like hammer it into place and blocking off the entrance to this little thing. Him and Irina then stand, heads bowed, facing the crypt, Do you guys stay with them at this point, or do you exit and give them some privacy?
I would walk away. I wouldn't.
I'd walk away as
Yeah, I exit too.
I give a silent blessing, and then I leave.
And Carlos would also respectfully leave.
I would, however, stand near the exit.
Okay, that's cool. Or you can hear Emilia. What were you doing? Are you gonna stay or go?
Emily will stay and kneel and do her usual thing.
Okay.
And then once she's done, she'll leave.
They wait for you to exit before they. Alec, you would probably hear it from your position. They start muttering something. You're not entirely sure what. You can't make out what they're saying, but you can only assume that it's words of either their deity, their god, or just words for their father. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, they then rejoin you. And both thank you. Ismark sort of puts his hands on your shoulders, Karnos, and sort of gives you a slight bow and thank you very much. We appreciate your assistance.
Yeah, that's no worries. We all quite happy to help. I actually thought I was going to have to be digging a big hole, but it seems like you had it prepared already.
I've had time to organize this, as my sister would not leave, and it has been 3 days. Now, we must travel to the northwest towards Vallaki if you are willing to accompany us. The road will no doubt be perilous. We really do not want to be traveling at night, but it will take us more than a day to get, fortunately. So we will have to be prepared for anything.
I believe my friend Mr. Sturb would like to check out the local I don't know, metal worker, and I think there might be a few of us who would need some things before we travel, if that is okay with you.
There is no metal worker here in Barovia. That would be in Vallaki.
Yeah.
Oh right,
Bloody
yeah.
town has no
There is, however, let me think. I think there is a store here. Just one moment. I'll find my map.
Stable, you are your own worker, aren't you? Don't you make this stuff yourself?
Still need some equipment I don't carry with
There
me.
is, we have one. I'm sorry, just one place where you could possibly procure supplies. Bildreth, the merchant, back in the center of town. If you wish to go there first.
You're cool, Mr. Sturb. I mean, I need to find something a little different myself. Probably not here in Barovia.
If you're going to a merchant, I will accompany you. Is there stuff I would like?
Barovia is a poor town. Even if they did have some of what you may need, it will be at how you say high price.
That reminds me. And Carlos gets out his money bag and he gives everyone 2 gold.
If you accept the 2 gold, put it on your sheet. If you don't, do not.
Even Adok?
Even Adok. It's like Carlos holds it out and sort of reluctantly and then drops the 2 gold in your hand.
Skate squeezes it off.
Okay.
So with that, guys, are you going into town or are you going to head out of town towards Vallaki? What are you doing?
I think we should go to Villarki with these guys because it seems like there's a bit more there.
Yes, let's go.
Agreed. Could you tell me, Mr. Ishmak, in Vallaki, is there some sort of place we can get an enchanting or an enchanted weapon?
I am not sure. It is possible, maybe. There is definitely a lot more there than I've only been there a few times myself. So, I'm not 100% sure.
Thank you. All right, well, I'm good to go when everyone else is good to go.
So, we go. Come, Idina, let's travel with our new friends and get to somewhere safe. And she nods and smiles. You can see that she's probably had a rough night again. Didn't look like she got a lot of sleep, but definitely willing to travel with you. You then head to where are we going? Start heading out of town. You follow. They take you out of town to the, when I get my map up, to the west, taking a western road out of Barovia. The mist still hangs very thick in the air. As you leave the town, you're in a basically open area, but the grass is greying, mud patches everywhere, and you can see that you're heading towards the river that you first noticed when you first came into Barovia. That one thing that stands out against this dull and dreary background, that clear crystal blue water as you slowly make your way towards it. If you were to look on your map, if you still have it, you will see that you're heading back towards the Slavich Woods, away from Barovia towards the during the first hour or so of travel, you notice you don't hear any sounds of wolves, no birds, no animals at all. It's eerie, very eerily quiet. Ismark and I really don't seem to be concerned at all with the fact that there doesn't seem to be any wildlife. Next hour or so goes by and you start to see a small bridge in the road. It's at this point that you, for the first time since you left Barovia, you feel that same feeling you felt when you first arrived in this land. Feeling of being watched. Once again, all of you start to feel this. Feeling that feeling on the back of your neck, your hair stand up and you swear that someone is watching you from somewhere. The uneasy feeling of being watched. I will get you all to make a perception check at this point. On my map of Barovia. Where are we? Not there yet. Right, so perception checks, please. Fibblestab.
A glorious 22.
22. Fibblestab sees everything. Maribel.
Great big 7. I love the flowers.
There are no flowers, but you can love them all you like. Scathus.
15.
15. Carnos.
Carnos is swinging his axe with a natural 1.
Oh shit. Critical fail. Zadriel.
18.
18. Mimalia.
22.
22. Another 22. And Adok.
A dirty one.
What was that?
31.
30.
2 minus 1.
2. Holy shit.
That's the opposite to a dirty 20.
Dirty 1. Holy crap. So, with that, again, that feeling that you're being watched is ever present. Bibblestib and Emilia, you notice the fog seems to be following you somewhat. Now that you've moved away from Barovia, you can no longer see it. It is completely engulfed in the fog behind you. The trees on either side of the road seem to be obscured by this thick, heavy mist that seems forever present in this land. As you approach the bridge, however, again, that crystal clean blue water stands out to you all as you near and cross this bridge. Ismark and Irina, again, Ismark's in the front. He's asked that Irina walk with you guys roughly in the middle to offer some form of almost like a ring of protection. And Ismark says, do not drink from the river. It may look clean and clear and pretty, but it's not. So please, do not take water. Okay? Be warned.
At this point, Mirabelle's like, okay. Comes back. She was going to try 31,
Emilia.
Is this the same river that we drank from on the way here?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Sweet as.
Oh, shit.
It is the same river that I believe Karnos and Emilia, is it Mirabelle as well, filled their water skins with?
Carlos watched. He did not fill
You
his.
did, that's right. No,
He
so
was
who filled their
watching.
water skins at the river? Emilia and Mirabelle. Have you drunk that water?
Yes.
You both have. That's one thing I was supposed to ask you last time. So, in saying that, what's the time frame since no, you're right. You're feeling okay. You now feel a little bit weird because of what Ismark has said, but you don't feel sick at this point. But I need to make a note of that. And that is where we'll call tonight's session. We're pretty much just about on time anyway, but we'll leave a little bit early so I know exactly where we are next week. You're at the bridge, so it's easy to remember for recaps and such.
Do you need a marching order?
I pretty much got the marching order. You've made that nice and easy for me, which is really awesome. I have taken note of that. So, but before we finish up for tonight, again we will go through. I know what the moments are going to be. There are several of them tonight. I'm going to jump in first here because I know all of you are going to steal the same scene. You're all going to say it, so I'm going to say it first. But the scene with Strahd and Emilia was fucking amazing, guys. That was so well done. I am so pleased that I chose Cameron to play Strahd. I was going to do it myself. And I was talking to Cameron. I said, "No, I want you to play Strahd, dude. I want you to play that kid. Make it your own. Do whatever." I left it completely up to him about what he said and how he approached it. We discussed who Strahd was and how he was supposed to be and everything else. But you hit the nail on the head, my dude. That was top notch. So yeah, that was crazy. But that was my top moment for the show, was the Strahd and Emilia. So we'll go around to the rest of everyone else now that I've stolen the thunder. Fibblestib, and you can say the same thing if you wish, but if you've got any comments about it, feel free.
No, my one was Karnos's conversation with
With Scathers.
with Scathers.
Yeah, well, Karnos is rambling with Scathers.
Yeah, so- Right.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, the roleplay across the board was on point tonight with everybody. I thought, not just the Strahd interaction, just everything was pretty cool. Mirabelle, aka Night Hot.
Yeah, I quite liked the Strahd. That was really cool. Just Drax, I don't think I've heard you speak so much ever.
Yes, Drax did exceptionally well throughout that as well. Trashman, aka Mr. Scathers.
Mirabelle and Zadriel and the gnome issue.
Yes, that was definitely another interesting moment indeed. I think that one, I was eating at the time and I just about spat my food out. So that was very well done. Karnos, aka Baz. I know you've got some moments written down there.
Yeah, I wrote heaps, man.
Go through them, dude.
Yeah.
We got time.
So for me, the first thing that it would stand out was Amelia's use of the shape water. I'd never ever seen it used like that in all my D&D years, to make a box to write shit in it, and then to remove her mask with it later on as well. I thought that was freaking cool use of shape water.
And that's why I'm sort of running with it, because I think, it works.
Well, she's not out of the boundaries of the spell, and I don't. Most people just use it for crap, and to me, it's one of those cantrips that's underused, and she's using it.
It's definitely an underrated.
Full cue to Drax.
Yeah, it's definitely an underrated cantrip to shape water and shape earth. I think definitely.
And I had written down obviously Drax and Roasted doing Strahd, and Mirabelle's mention of the gnome hats. I also thought it was pretty funny when Drax said. About a strange man appearing in a locked house. It was just the way he said it. It was cracking me up. But the one that stands out, probably a little different for everyone else, was Zadriel talking about with Mirabelle about the gnome thing. But when they were talking about maybe putting something on Karnos's neck or head, and she said, "Oh no, that would be strangling."
Awesome.
And that's it for me. I did have all that other shit
There's a
written down
lot.
too. It's so many good things tonight.
There's so many.
Everyone was on the piss or something. I don't know.
Oh, dude, everyone must have been sleeping with a light bulb on last night. Everyone was on point with their RP, and the humor was just spot on. It was great. Zadriel, aka Michelle.
Sorry.
All those were the same. Yeah, I'll do one different. I like when Fibblestibs just like, dude, I'm looking straight up at your mask. I can tell it's a mask. That was really cute.
I was waiting for that to happen. We got 3 very short individuals in this campaign that, I mean, as much as Emilia, like Drax and I discussed this whole mask thing and how he wanted it to be, and I agreed with it. And I was thinking, but with these really short people, they're gonna see things that other people can't. So it was kind of like, fuck it, they can see it. I mean,
also Mirabelle getting up on the chair. I like the whole perspective thing.
Yeah, Mirabelle sleeping in the drawer, people still climbing up on the chair. Again, making sure that their character's stature is very well documented.
Zadriel actually made a point earlier on in the game, which I never picked up on, is that Karnos is the only human in the group. I think it was mentioned once other time, but in the knowledge base, does anyone know that Zadriel isn't a human other than Fibblestib?
Adok.
Oh,
No,
Adok.
well,
Actually,
Adok.
no. I think does Adok know? Yes.
He asked if I had black wings, and I told him I have
yes, you
ones.
did. I think you might have figured it out. Based
I
on,
picked up.
or was that the paladin thing?
Uh,
Yeah.
No, is it?
Was it more
But I'm not sure.
was it
Oh,
more
sorry.
paladin or race?
I made it an ASMR thing, but he might be thinking a paladin thing. It's up to what Adok perceives is his own.
Yeah,
Either
adult
way,
wouldn't necessarily know
Okay.
what an ASMR
So
is,
we'll say that no, everyone would assume that Zadriel is human. So. And the fact that Zadriel made that remark that
And I didn't pick it up.
Yeah,
and
she did it.
Mirabelle missed it.
I handed it.
Completely.
Just remember that, Nutty, that Mirabelle did not get that reference and missed it completely. So Mirabelle does
I waited
not
for
know
her to
that.
pick up on it. I was tempted to type it in the chat, and I thought, no, I better not.
No. Drax, aka Emilia.
See, I picked up on that. Her saying that he was the only human, but it's like as far as what do you call it? Zadriel knows Emilia was human, apart from the fact that she knows that there's evil coming from her.
It's not that it's not evil. She knows that you're undead, that you're giving off an undead signature. So the thing is, whether she perceives undead as evil is up to her. So so that's a perception thing.
It's just like, it was like anyone who had seen me without mask on would assume that I'm human.
Exactly. So Fibblestib will assume you're human because he's seen you as a human face. As would
hasn't, so which I just thought was sort of funny because it's like if Mirabelle remembers later on that she has said that he's the only human in the party, then she's going to think when I reveal myself, she's going to be like, well, what the hell?
Mirabelle won't remember.
Mirabelle probably won't remember anything.
Drop secret little bombs on people.
Yeah. And so your favourite scene or moment?
As for favourite moment, it's like I will say it's the Strahd Emilia thing, but it wasn't that. It was the fact that it was voiced by Adog, Cameron, that caught me off guard. I was like,
yes.
I know the voice, but I can't see you talking because you. Sorry, I know the voice, but I expected Evil to talk, but I can't see him talking. And it's like, okay, a bit confused here. And then it's like, wait a minute, that's Adog. He's.
So you didn't realise that it was Cameron speaking at first. You thought it was me.
No, not at first. It's like sort of. I got a bit lost on that.
That's cool though. I mean, again, I think that Cameron Strahd would have been is definitely far superior to the Strahd that I would have portrayed. Would have been very similar, but I think the inflection and the voice and the accent it was on point, dude. It was exactly what I imagined Strahd would sound like and how he would portray himself, which is what we discussed and talked about. So, again, top notch, man. I'm wrapped with the whole show. The whole show, as I said, best episode to date, and that's both campaigns. I had my favorite episode in the Paragon campaign, which was the killing of Neymaris. That was my favorite because it threw me completely off guard. But to have the RP in this particular episode, it wasn't just the Strahd Emilia RP. It was the Scathis and Scathis and Karnos RP. It was the Zadriel and Mirabelle and the Fibblestib and Emilia. It was just the RP tonight across the board was just amazing. It was really well done. Cameron, aka Adok, aka Strahd.
Like I have to agree with Bassett. Like, I mean, there was a fuck ton a lot of moments about this. I was like, holy shit. But one thing that did, and I wanted to say, was Drax's use of Emilia's shape water. Like, your creativity and the way that you explain things just explodes my imagination, where I literally visualize it so specific. It's fucking amazing. But also another one was Mirabelle and Zadriel, like that. Yeah, had me in stitches as well. but again, across the board, like there was so many moments. I'm actually I really look forward to these sessions.
So we don't want to take another week off next week? No.
Just means our Sunday group has to step it up.
You've got to bring it back to the Sunday group, guys. Now we got to step it up. Got to bring the favourite episode back.
He's going to have to do something wild.
I just have to kill
Well, I'll tell you what. To bring it back to a favourite episode. You know what? The best thing that the Sunday group could do is when I finish my fucking recap, you guys could actually say something.
We're in the middle of a fight. What are we going to say?
Well, true. This is very true.
Fired.
What are you guys doing?
Are there any mushrooms?
Tumbleweeds.
I'm waiting for my initiative to do something. That's what I'm fucking doing.
But yes, so with that, we've had John the Great 2 follow as well. Thank you very much, John the Great 2. I would like to just acknowledge, just quickly, seeing Mr. Foe live in the chat. Some of you may remember him under a slightly different name when he was on Mixer. But he is also a gaming streamer, but doing D&D as well. He's got a D&D campaign over on his channel. So one of the mods, can I get a shout out for Foe Live, please? Make sure if you get a chance, he's on American time zone, so it'll be during the day. But if you do get a chance to go check him out and chuck those guys a follow and support them as well. Again, I think a new DM, Lost Chapters, woohoo! And Jackson, welcome, dude. Make sure we get a shout out for the Lost Chapters as well, guys. Don't forget tomorrow night, 6:30ish AEST-ish. Go check out Cameron, Jackson, and the crew doing Storm King's Thunder. Or are you not doing it tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm taking a week off. I'm
Jesus!
Restructuring the entire campaign.
Don't go see them tomorrow. See them next week.
Did you catch Torito in there as well?
Torito?
Torito was in there.
Really?
Under a new name. You missed that, didn't you?
I did.
What's his name? Hang on.
Kaliki?
Really?
Kilikite?
Shit.
Kilikite.
Yeah, that is, where are they?
There's so many names.
Kilikite, yeah, that's Torito.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
You were RPing, so you missed
Well,
it.
Kilikite, welcome. All these old people I used to hang out with and stream with and play with are all turning up. It's great. So
He was in here when you were choking on your food.
Oh, right. Awesome. Well, I saw that come up in the follow as well, so I better acknowledge that. So Kilikite with the follow. He followed 3 days ago, but was here tonight, so that's cool. But thank you again, everyone, for the follows and the raid from... Who did we get raided from? Torpid Network at the start of the campaign tonight. Lots of thank yous. We should now see who we're going to raid, of course, like we always do. Who are we going to raid this evening, guys? Does anyone want to guide the raid? Don't forget you got channel points too, guys. So just remember the channel points, the gold coin under your chat bar. If you click on that, you'll get some options. You can give the players luck or inspiration. That will stack as well. You can do multiple lucks and multiple inspirations, up to 5 maximum per game, per episode. You can give luck and inspiration to your DM also. And you can give, now that Strahd has been introduced, you can give luck and inspiration to Strahd as well. Because he will feature more than just once throughout this campaign.
Pretty sure he's powerful enough.
I'm pretty sure he's powerful enough as well, but you can still do it. It's good enough to, what's good enough for the players is good enough for the monsters. With that, also too, you can guide the raids. You can name an NPC also in the homebrew campaign. So make sure that you are aware of that. Check out the channel points and do that. So we've got Sneaky Sneaklings, another Aussie stream. Check out these guys. Oh, we've got a New Zealand streamer here as well. Relearning D&D 5e. Come give me advice. I think I might rate him. Woodward Games. And we're going to shut down the ad. I think we're going to raid Woodward Games, guys. He's been streaming for nearly 3 hours. Hopefully he's not going to just finish soon. We'll double check before we do call the raid. But looks like a Kiwi dude. Ad finishes. Come on, ad.
Okay, so he's an entertainer.
So it looks like
tiny
he's
little
doing
shits.
some...
Yes! They're tiny little shits.
Checking out D&D Beyond
They killed my
backgrounds and all that sort
father.
of stuff. So I think we're going to raid this dude.
Little shits. It would be wacky to be a sage.
Right. 1 second. Raid channel. Woodward Games. He's only got 9 viewers. So with that, guys, don't forget Sunday night we will be back with some more D&D goodness. But tomorrow morning, 11:30 ish, maybe lunchtime, I will be streaming Baldur's Gate 3. So if I do have other people in this particular chat window that have the game and would like to maybe check out the multiplayer, come and see me tomorrow. But yeah, so come and check that out. The VOD for this show will be up in a couple of days. Keep an eye on the YouTube. But until then, we will see you again, fine people. Thank you very, very much. And goodbye.
Thank you and good night.
Oh, it's not
Long
going to go
Beach
stream
Arena.
end. No, start stream. Wrong one. Fuck me. That one.